Movie and Music Network, offering underground, pop, and esoteric cinema. Discover more at movieandmusicnetwork.com. Lou Bloom is a man desperate to find work.
Who do you work for?
At the moment, I work for myself.
One night, he stumbles upon the intense nighttime world of crime photojournalism. Using dangerous tactics, he cements his place in the industry at the risk of his own sanity in Nightcrawler.
Hi, I'm Aaron, and I'm here with Zorianna and Sean, and today we're going to talk about Nightcrawler, starring Jake Gyllenhaal. We've all just seen it. Sean, what did you think?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I like these movies that sort of deal with the psychology of characters who live and breathe in the night, and the sort of underpinnings of the strange world that we never really see. And this is about someone who goes undercover in the news business to catch these crazy events that happen at night and then give them to local news.
It is such a well-written character, Jake Gyllenhaal's character. I mean, the arc. I mean, you move so gradually from this sort of loser, sociopath, petty thief who then all of a sudden becomes this scarily slick businessman.
He's always calculated.
This winner sociopath, sleazy.
Yeah, well, it's just a simple story with a complicated character, which I think is nice. It's refreshing. I like that the movie takes place in LA.
Oh, I love that it takes place in LA.
And it shows you a part of LA that you don't really see all the time, you know, like seedy sort of TMZ style news.
And that's why
isn't like covered in the news, because it is the news. So.
But that's why I think it works so well in LA, because it really is, the worst of it, TMZ, for example, is in LA.
Yeah,
so
the superficiality of the whole thing
exactly
kind of rings true being in this town.
So if you're going to lift up a rock to expose the cockroaches, LA is kind of the best city for that. And there's a lot of cockroaches to be exposed in this movie.
So, I'm Lou Bloom. I have some footage for sale.
Okay, well, see Frank out there the way you came. What's the time to?
1:06.
What do you have?
Something I'm fairly certain you'll be very excited about.
I found it fascinating, the mind games that this Jake Gyllenhaal character plays with some of his counterparts, the news producer lady and the assistant that he has who's running around with him at night. The fact that he wins with one and loses with the other really gives a mesmerizing element to this film. And
Jake Gyllenhaal's performance as Lou is pretty spectacular. I mean, he's kind of had his own renaissance in acting over the last few years, kind of like McConaughey has, you know, with Enemy and with Prisoners. He's really proving himself to be a talented actor, and here he's a little more crazy than he usually is, and he pulls it off splendidly.
Well, also the physical transformation. I've never seen him this gaunt. I mean, usually Jake Gyllenhaal is like the dude with the buff body, and here it's the exact opposite. And even his hair, like he makes a point in this movie, like, to slick it back. Like, you watch him making his own ponytail, and there's a greasiness there too that's just very oily and yucky.
It's a bit hard to get a beat on the character because he's so far out there.
Yeah.
But I mean, Jake Gyllenhaal fully invested, and he's a producer on this project too, so you can tell that he really fully cares about this material and really gets down in the nitty-gritty of this character.
It also made me think a little bit about Brad Pitt, how Brad Pitt was trapped in these leading man roles, and when he started veering off a little bit to character roles, he was at his best, like in 12 Monkeys, for example, or Fight Club. Like, Brad Pitt is the best when he's playing non-leading man type roles, and here Jake Gyllenhaal's doing the same thing. He's going for that non-traditional,
offbeat sort of
characterization. And I think he's actually found his niche.
Yeah.
I think that's true. I think that some of the supporting cast is also very good. Riz Ahmed, who's actually a British rapper, plays this character who's along for the ride with the Jake Gyllenhaal character.
Named Rick,
A homeless guy.
Yeah,
but
he's great. He carries it too, definitely. Rene Russo, as the producer of the nightly news segment that he contributes to, is also great.
Yeah, nice, very desperate. Yeah. Like, you know, normally people like that, you think that they're in charge of a newsroom and they hold the power, but she plays this woman as just very desperate to get the ratings, desperate to get her career back to where it was in her glory days. It's very tragic, actually, very tragic.
The best and clearest way that I can phrase it to you, Lou, to capture the spirit of what we air, is think of our newscast as a screaming woman running down the street with her throat cut.
I understand.
The success of this film definitely relies on writer-director Dan Gilroy. He combined a lot of great production elements, great editing, very interesting score choices. He did a fantastic job.
Yeah, and Gilroy made his bones as a writer. I mean, he wrote Two for the Money. He co-wrote the last Bourne film, The Bourne Legacy, and I think that he draws on those past films in a way and really makes them new. You mentioned Broadcast News and Network. I saw a lot of Ace in the Hole, the Billy Wilder film about this journalist who's just willing to go to any lengths possible to get the story, and he brings a stylistic quality to it. He lenses the movie very well. There's a car chase in this movie that's exhilarating.
Oh my gosh, so good, yeah.
And so I really like to see where Dan Gilroy goes next.
Nightcrawler is the best movie to take place in LA since 2011's Drive. I say see it.
This ain't no Prince of Persia. Jake Gyllenhaal delivers his best performance to date. See it.
Featuring some pretty far out and wacky characters, it's really worth it to walk or drive to the theater to see Nightcrawler. See it.
Cheers. Cheers
to Prince of Persia.
Yeah, it was so good. The Sands of Time. Pinky out.
Good slate.
I slate like I drink tea.